Welcome to the Blackout interview. Maraming salamat sa iyong oras.
No problem po. Thank you for having me.
In a few lines, tell me your story.
I guess to start it off, I'm someone who was taken advantage of as a child. If it had to be specific, it's basically I was sexually assaulted as a child by four men who were older, much older than I was. And it kind of just went downhill from there. I don't know if it was because of who I was or I guess am, but the most peculiar thing about it is I was a child that didn't know what was happening. And then it just kept happening and happening again as I grew older from different people, from different places. And just, it makes you wonder, like, is it my fault? Am I asking for it? Am I asking to be touched on the street? Am I asking to be pinned down, not having a choice? I don't know. But eventually, I guess I grew up to embrace it, which is a bad way to put it. But I embraced the fact that people got attracted that way to me. So guys, girls, I would kind of do the same to them as though it was my way of getting back at the people who did that to me. I would lead people on pretending that I liked them just so that I could do something to them, as though it gave me a feeling of, I don't know, redemption, I guess. I don't know, I was young. But, the best thing about it is growing up and then being exposed to these things and finding out that being is sexually assaulted and sexually assaulting people is wrong. And it's something that you can overcome, you can grow out of if you have the right support group. So I guess the great thing about me is I had a very supportive mom whom did not show not even a single grain of disgust towards me when she found out everything that I did. Like, I saw myself as a dirty rag that I should probably just throw out and, burn even. But when she found out about everything that's been done to me and everything I've done to other people, all she said was, "I love you, I love you, I love you." That's it. And I think that's the most powerful part of my story. It's that no matter how worthless you think you are, it only takes that one person to tell you that you're not. And that moment when she told me she loved me, in spite of knowing everything, is kind of what led me to changing my ways, trying at least to reconcile with the people I've hurt, and then growing up to help people who went through the same thing. That is my story.
You were raped by four guys when you were 8 years.
Yeah.
You were held down, groped by a man sa kalye when you were 9. You were
Yes.
sexually harassed on the train at 13. You were taken advantage by a teammate at 14.
Mhm.
15, you had that, your words, these are your words, dark realization that you could get with anyone you wanted. Use that to have a semblance of vengeance on the people na nanggamit sa'yo. You played with
Opo.
people's feelings to get the upper hand, or at least that's what you thought, as though
Yeah.
doing to them what your past had done to you at 24. Tell me your story about what you have become.
At 24 years old, I've become a person who gives counsel to those who are victims of trauma that fall under rape or physical assault. At 24 years old, I have become someone who has learned to love people beyond what they have done. At 24 years old, I have learned to forgive people and forgive myself, most importantly. And at 24 years old, I have developed a very bright view of the future, honestly. At 24 years old, I believe that I can achieve great things and that I'm worthy of these great things. And at 24 years old, I have become someone who sheds light. I've become someone who wants to make people happy. I've become someone who wants to help people get through the times that I went through. At 24 years old, I learned how to love, I guess.
Okay, I want to go back a little bit. At 17 years old, you wrote, I had sex with more boys and girls than I can count. Many
Yeah.
ended up hating me and threatened to hurt me and or themselves.
Yeah.
At 24, tell me your story about sex and love.
All right. I think I have to expound on that previous statement. A lot of the people that I had sex with a lot of the people that I kind of manipulated. When I tried to end things, or when I just decided to disappear and stop whatever was happening with them because I felt accomplished already. Parang tapos na eh. Ano na eh, nakuha ko na yung gusto ko. And
Alright.
so, pwede na ako mag-move on dun sa sunod. Kumbaga, parang naghahanap na ako ng iba pang paglalabasan ng galit ko. Anong nangyayari? Kapag ginawa ko yun, syempre kung naglaho ka bigla, nang akala nila may something, that there's something bigger, something deeper, they get mad. For some fucked up reason, I found joy knowing that I caused the same hurt that people did to me to others.
How easy, difficult was it just to have sex with no feelings at all? Or did you somehow feel anything while doing sex with, with these people?
Honestly, it was more of wala. I was in it for what I was doing.
Okay.
And most of the time I was more satisfied if they were satisfied. I didn't even have to finish. Parang gusto ko lang malaman na okay, so ikaw yun ang kailangan sa akin ngayon. Kasi napasaya kita ngayon. Ako
Pero
hindi, wala akong utang sa'yo.
Okay.
Parang
Hindi
ganun.
ka natapilok along the way, hindi ka na in love sa isa sa kanila. Nothing.
Well, usually kasi kapag nasisimulan ko ng nagugustuhan, dun ko tinatapos eh.
How often were you having sex at 17? Was this a weekly thing? Was this a monthly thing? Did you have different partners in a month, in a week? How was it like?
I remember the limit was 3 days per person.
Pag lumampas ng 3 days, wala na.
Wala na. Bye na yun. That's what I remember distinctly na hindi pwedeng lumampas ng 3 araw tong taong to.
Did you go to a counselor?
I tried, but every time they asked me, every time I felt like I was gonna be vulnerable, I just lashed out and then I withdrew. So, parang noon na nalaman ko na may mali talaga kasi hindi ako nagsasalita eh. Kaya ang ginawa ko, I just had to study it myself and then figure out the pieces by myself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Eh, wala eh. At the time, when everything was crashing down on me, nung pabigat na lahat, hindi ko na masabi sa iba kasi feeling ko, wala na nga akong kwenta sa paningin ko, ipapakita ko ba sa kanila yun.
Okay. At 18 years old, you decided to get tested. It turned out negative. I'm talking about HIV testing. Tell me your story about getting HIV tested.
I tried asking my friends about that, na parang trinay kong mag-project na kunwari may friend akong tinutulungan. And then that's when I found out that HIV was a thing. Out of my friend's joke, na nalaman ko na yun nga, HIV is a thing. So I immediately went to the internet and then searched it up. And I was scared to death to figure out that could happen to someone. And, it could ruin their life completely. I looked for centers na pwedeng magpa-test na anonymous and na free because I was a student and I have money. And I found Love Yourself, PH. They're a very, very nice place because they don't care to make a big deal out of it. Then they test you and they give you the result after. And the counselor reveals the result. They took my blood. And then the most beautiful thing happened. We were put in a room. There was a room of people there. And then may isang tao sa harap. And may hawak siyang malaking libro. And in that book, that person explained to all of us what HIV is, how does it get transmitted, what can you do to prevent it.
So what happened next?
And then after that, we were called one by one. So I was just waiting anxiously. All of the minutes felt like hours because I was just thinking, paano ko sabihin kay mama, magkakaroon pa ba ako ng asawa, magkakaroon pa ba ako anak? Hala, ano mangyari sa akin? Paano ako magiging my profession kung ganun ako? Alam mo yun? Mm-hmm. And then, my name was called after 15 minutes, but I swear to God, I thought I was waiting for 3 hours.
Okay.
And then I went into the separate room. I was nervous. And noon, may nilabas siyang isang paper. Before they opened the envelope, they said, okay, sir, kahit ano pong maging resulta dito, may magagawa tayo. Alalahanin niyo po, meron tayong game plan. Kung sakaling positive man, ganito ang gagawin natin, blah, 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 blah. Pwede kitang i-refer dito sa mga centers na to kasi bata ka pa, hindi mo alam gagawin mo. At kung negative naman, nasa sayo na yan kung paano mo bibitbitin yung puting bandila mo. Those were like the best words I've ever heard at that point in my life. Na, if this gets washed clean, it's up to you to keep your flag clean and wave it as high as you can to influence others. Like, that hit me very, very hard. Nah, it was a fresh start. It felt like new life. And they opened it, and thank the Lord, I was negative. Eh, I shouted. I shouted in that room na, I praise God! Gumano na ako. I remember it so clearly. And yung face ng counselor, grabe. I was negative. Can you believe it? Oh my Lord, gano'n ako kamahal ni God. Grabe.
Tell me your story about how you told your mom.
Okay. This day still plays very clearly in my head. I think it was my first ever concert in a mall. Imagine that. It was a big day. I was so excited. It was like, Mama, oh, kita mo, talagang magaling ako kumanta. Magpo-perform ako dyan sa mall. Oh, ayan, oh, lapit lang. Punta ka na. My closest friends came to. There's 5 of us in that close friends group. They were there in the audience. They were watching with Mama. And I was just having the best time of my life. I was happy. After the whole concert thing, request ni Mama, kain muna kami. So we ate at Pancake House.
Just you and Mom?
Yeah, just me and Mama.
Okay.
I sat down and I was already trembling. I'm pretty sure she already knew I was going to try to say something because I was very, very nervous. And I was trying to figure out what to say, how to start. I had to overcome it. I put down my fork and then I said, Ma, may kailangan po akong ikwento sa inyo. Sabi niya, bakit? Ano meron? And then I told her literally everything. I started with what happened. I even gave her the names of the people because they were our neighbors.
So, Mama didn't walk away. What happened?
I told her everything and I ended with, I got tested, Ma. Pero negative naman po. At promise, hindi ko pa po siya inuulit. Promise po, promise. Wala. Hindi ko na siya gusto, Ma. Sorry po. And then it was quiet for a bit, but then she smiled at me and then she said, I love you, I love you, I love you. Kahit ano mangyari, mahal kita. And she just kept saying, I love you again and again until I calmed down. Because I was overwhelmed. I didn't know. I was preparing myself for the worst and I was given the best.
Yeah. Did Mama cry?
No, she didn't. Honestly, I expected her to be crying, to be mad, I guess, at the people who did that to me. No, she wasn't. It was as though she had forgiven them before I did. It was as though she had forgiven me before I said anything. So she was just waiting for me to say it, and it was just nonchalant. Like, okay, what do you want for dessert? Parang ganun.
Mm-hmm. Wait, stop there. Hypothetical. If Mama looked at you and walked away disappointed, what would you have done?
I wouldn't be home. And I think in a few days, I would have given up on life itself and just either taken my life or succumbed to that and just decide to, be bulakbol forever. No one cares naman eh. Mamatay na ako, mamatay. Ganun.
So for a while, you contemplated on dying by suicide in the event that Mama doesn't understand.
Of course. Because imagine, parang you have your whole life ahead of you pa. But you know you're weighed down by your past. And you don't know how that's going to bite you back in the future. You don't know how that's going to push you down. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was like clinging to my only source of light, which was my mom. The only person who has ever loved me throughout all of my problems, throughout all of the disappointments, throughout all of the hardship we went through. I knew that she would love me. And if that one person gave up, there was no reason to go through it. There was no reason to keep going if everyone in this entire world doesn't think I have a chance to change, doesn't think I have a chance to grow, doesn't think that I'm worth anything.
But you now realize that suicide is not a solution.
Yeah, I do. I understand that.
You now understand.
Because I understand that suicide is... I want to say it's unfair to everyone else. But in terms of personal reasons, it's unfair to me. Because if I kill myself right now, right this second, just because I feel doomed, that would be unfair to me because I'm preventing myself from changing. I'm preventing myself from pushing through. I'm preventing myself from seeing happier days because I know I can. And
Yeah.
I'm worth being happy.
Right. Right.
Yun.
Mhm. You mentioned the word forgiveness. Today,
Mm.
as I talk to you, what is your concept of forgiving?
My concept of forgiving, which I'm still trying to grasp myself, by the way. Not being all righteous here, I still have a lot of trouble forgiving people. But what I understand of it is forgiveness is allowing what hurt you to leave so that the person who hurt you can live with you again. It's like foregoing what they did so that you can once again walk with the person. It's like giving yourself and them another chance at making each other happy, I guess.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's difficult. I can say that very easily. But the
Mhm.
only person who can actually do that, I think, that I know right now is my mom.
Yeah.
Like, she's
No
the
doubt.
only person who I know can forgive someone who literally would have almost killed her. And she's gonna be like, no, it's okay. I understand. You had your reasons. Come here. I love you. But me, right now, I'm still trying my best to not let anger and fear and I guess disappointment get in the way of forgiving. Because there's still people that I haven't forgiven right now.
If I ask you now to tell me what you know about love, what would you tell me?
What I can tell you right now, in terms of romantic love, I don't have permission from the other person to disclose it,
Yeah.
but I can tell you that actual love, in terms of romance, in terms of having someone as a partner for life, in terms of really loving someone more than platonic, more than friendship, as in being my person,
Mhm.
is seeing them at their when they're sick, seeing them when they're mad, seeing them when something unexpectedly bad happened, and still being able to smile and say, I love you, kaya natin to, kalma lang, kapit tayo dyan. And them being able to do the same for you. Because it's not just feelings na parang, oh my God, kinikilig ako kasi sobrang sweet niya. It's ikaw eh. Ikaw yung pinili ko. Ikaw yung sinabi kong kaya natin pagdaanan lahat ng tong magkasama. Papangit man tayo, tatanda man tayo, wala na yun. Basta ikaw ang gusto kong kasama eh. Mahal kita. Kahit nagago ka minsan, kahit na ako minsan masyado akong maingay, kahit na minsan may mga topak ako na ba't ako nagagalit out of nowhere. Parang ganun. I think love is going beyond feeling and going into committing to this person because you genuinely believe that they're the best person to spend the rest of your life with because you make each other better.
Okay. At 24, are you there?
I would say it's early to say, but I'm confident that I'm on that right track with the person I'm with.
Okay. At 24, you earlier spoke about the goodness of the great divine. Tell me your story about your God.
My God, my God has been there a lot. Like, bata pa lang ako, I knew. It's different when you experience it yourself. It's different when you went through something that you don't understand and you're just alone and you don't know what to do. But somehow, some way, you just feel like someone's hugging you. You just feel like someone's telling you to keep going kasi it's not the end of the line.
Mm.
My God has been with me through not knowing what I can eat the next day, not knowing if there will be a next day, not knowing how I can talk to this person so that I can ask them for help. He was there when literal pumping feeling of heat when I was at my lowest that just brought me back. It just snapped me back. When I was on of the verge of falling into that darkness, I would always feel what I would describe as the Lord's hug. And that's how I pray for people then. And Lord, please wrap your arms around them right now. Let them feel your love because that's what brought me back. These are things that may or may not be psychological, but it's there. There's
It's
so many
real.
things that happen. It's real. It's very real, honestly.
It's real.
There's no way a 13-year-old boy who has no concept of anything could figure out how to keep going when everything looks like it's gonna fall apart. No, it's not possible if that wasn't real. The Lord is real, honestly. He's worked in my life so much, and I've seen Him work in me. I've seen Him in everything. And I try to be what I saw then. so that I can be the image of the Lord on other people, so that they can see that He cares about them, so that they can see that He loves them.
Yeah. Have you forgiven yourself?
I did, but it wasn't immediate. It took time before I gave myself the go signal to love again.
Not who caused you the most pain.
No, because those people who did that to me when I was young, ano I guess time does heal wounds, but also right now I can't be angry at them. Because number one, I've learned that anger makes me ugly. Another thing is anger never helped me get
Yeah.
over anything. It made me do bad things. Anger made me more of a horrible person than those four were.
Mm.
So I can't be angry at them because another thing is I honestly don't know what to do about that anger. I would be angry if I had a way to process it, if I had a way to reconcile it. But those guys have their own lives now. They have families. Their lives are quiet, I think, at least. And I don't need to go in there and ruin them when maybe they've already gone through redemption.
Okay.
And they don't need their past coming back to bite them when everything is fine. Because I don't want that to happen to me. I
Yeah.
just let the Lord deal with it. Sabi nga nila parang there are so many things that you can't control. But what you can control is what you do with yourself.
At 24, where are you at this point in your story?
At 24, as you said, I'm growing. I am learning so many things that I used to do wrong. I am trying my best to unlearn habits that are not healthy. I'm trying my best to figure out how I can be someone that can be accountable for whatever they do. Because I know that there's so much that I have yet to learn. But right now, at least I know I'm taking the right track. I'm
Yeah.
with good friends who are not afraid to point out when I'm doing something wrong. I am my mom
And you
who
have
is
mama.
always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 24, you're on your way to where?
At 24, I'm on the way to make a life for myself. I am currently working on my dreams. I want to have my name up in lights. I recently released a song and I'm also trying to finish my masters, but I don't think I can do it during the pandemics. But I am on the way to becoming a well-educated man who has influence on people and who continues to change people's lives by the words that he says, by the stories that he tells. That's what I'm on the way to.
Okay. At 24, yes or no, are you happy?
Yes. Yes, I am happy.
If you were to confess your biggest sin to God right now, what would that be?
My biggest sin in general would have been going into someone's life, knowing knowing I wasn't going to stay and knowing that would ruin them.
But the best thing about you now is
Best thing about me now would probably be that as talkative as I am, I'm always willing to listen. I can be proud that people can confide in me, that I can help them.
we're doing this convo in darkness, in a blackout. And if you were to describe yourself in one word, what would that be?
Me in one word. I would be a hug. Yeah, I would be a hug.
I get that. I get that. And hug that can be a rainbow in somebody else's sky.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. And you take care.
Thank you, Dito Boy.